What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first Sunday tailgate of the 2025 NFL season. I'm your tailgate captain, and I've got the hat to prove it. I'm Stacy Perez, and I
Yes.
am joined today by my buddy. We got Mike and Nerdboy over here at Dynasty DGens. Mike, we made it. It's football season. It's here. It's finally here. How
Yeah,
excited are you?
I'm excited, and we have my government name on the
Yeah,
overlay today. So I didn't even know this was going to happen. I didn't know my name was going to be out there, but I guess
you've been
everyone
outed.
knows my first and last name now. So if you want to dox me, go for it, I guess, at this point. But yeah, I'm excited. You've always used your government name.
I
That's just
have.
your go-to. You are
It
just
is.
like out there. I mean, you're a lawyer, so at this point, you could
Yeah.
probably come at them if they try to do anything anyway. So now that we're a team, you are my lawyer now too, right? So
Yes,
this is
absolutely. This is
okay.
attorney-client relationship here has been formed
Cool.
on the show immediately right now.
I'll Venmo you a buck, so we
Yeah,
just lock it in. Um, All right. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for a lot of stuff. I'm excited for the show. I'm excited for the first full week of football.
yeah,
I love this stuff. We talked backstage a lot, but this is what I got into fantasy for. Like the
yeah,
start sits, the injury stuff, and that's what I
exactly.
started. I started going on Twitter like 3 years ago for this stuff, and then I just ran with it, made content, and now we're doing a whole show on mostly start sits and redraft stuff, and I'm pumped, man.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, I've been so excited for this ever since we decided that we were going to do this, and I can't believe that it's like finally here. But so you guys kind of know, we are going to do a quick rundown of, today, kind of the big storylines of the day, what's going on this Sunday. We're going to be giving you some injury updates as they come in. It's 11 o'clock, so we should start getting those notifications. Everybody's phone should start blowing up right about now with all the start sits and who's active, who's inactive, all those things are going to be coming up. We will bring those to you live. We've got some matchups here. We've got some start sit questions. People, please throw your questions, comments in the comment section over there. Tell us your questions. Like we'll try to help you out as soon as they come in. We're gonna give you some DFS plays today, but I will just warn you, if you lose on your DFS plays, please don't blame me because I've never been really good at it. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to learn from people. So I'm trying to get better with my DFS plays.
Yeah, I think eventually we're gonna have a DFS segment here where we'll have somebody come in that is a little more, down to earth and privy with the whole DFS. I don't really play it that often. Like I don't do it. I live in a betting state. I can go in there and I can just drop my money down. I live 5 minutes from the booking place and the casino over here, so I just go in there live and I'm just plugging in playing, but I don't look at the lines or anything at this point. But it's not too late to figure it out.
Yeah.
We talked about it. We're two middle-aged white people, so I think we're right in the wheelhouse of getting the daily bets thing going.
Exactly. I know
Let's
we'll have Keith Fleming on in a couple weeks, and he is like my go-to for DFS questions. Like I've been actually texting him this morning, asking him, I was looking for a specific like Jackson Dart, touchdown throw line today that I couldn't find anywhere. So I put Keith on the trail. I was like, go find this for me, please.
Nice. Yeah, we'll get Keith. We'll drop his number in the chat right now if you want to get some good lines and figure out the DFS plays over there.
Exactly.
Um,
Just text him. Feel free to text him. I'll put his phone number here in the comments. I'm sure he won't mind at all.
no, yeah, just blow it up.
Yeah, he'll love it. He'll love it. We've got a couple questions here already in the chat. We can probably get to those and then get started on, some little updates, things like that. I'm still kind of waiting. I haven't gotten any updates yet. It's 11:05, so I'm kind of waiting for those to
Yeah,
come in.
let's hit the chat and then we'll talk about what's been going on.
Right?
Obviously we've had a game already, kind of a couple
Yeah.
games already.
2.
So yeah, I mean we can talk about injury news, we can talk about what's coming up, and then obviously that stuff where all of the injuries. We heard that Kyler's got a little
Mhm.
illness going on. There's
Yep.
a lot of stuff coming in. 11 o'clock is usually that hitting point. So once we get to that, we can go over that stuff too. Um,
Yeah. So we got our
Start
first
three.
question here from Baker Kid 2. He wants to start 3. It's a PPR. We got Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison, Jamison Williams, who just got paid this morning. We saw that come in. You got Tony Pollard, and then you've got Travis Hunter. I'm really excited about that Travis Hunter, Ted McMillan little matchup that we've got going. That's one of my favorite things for today. Who would have thought you'd be excited about watching a Jags Panthers game, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tackle this real quick if you want me
Yeah,
to.
go for it.
I want Garrett Wilson. I think that he's a lock to start just
Mhm.
because later in the show we're going to talk about. Well, I'm going to talk about how excited I am for this matchup because two quarterbacks swap teams and
Yeah,
now they're facing each other, and I think there's a lot of narrative that you can put against that. But I think that one thing is a lock that Garrett Wilson is probably going to get targets in this game, and Justin Fields loves to lock in on one guy. And really, if we're going to break this team down, Garrett Wilson is the only guy.
yeah.
And I think
It's
that
not Alan Lazard.
I mean, it kind of was last year for a stretch of time, but I don't think it's going to be, I don't think he's going to get the same treatment as Aaron Rodgers gave him last year. So I think Garrett Wilson's a lock for me. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a fade this week for me.
Yeah.
And I'll get into that a little later too, but I think I might go Wilson, Jamo, and Hunter. And
Yeah.
that feels kind of spicy to me, but I think the Tennessee Titans are going to be playing from behind in this game. I think that they're going to
Agreed.
have a tough run, and I don't think the run game is going to be as prevalent as you would hope as far as game script goes. So, yeah,
Yeah.
give me Garrett Wilson, Jamo, and Hunter.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I actually have as one of my DFS plays later a Cam Ward interception just because I mean they're you've got a rookie QB going across the country playing one of the top defenses. So I'm kind of out on Pollard this week. I'm with you there. And JMO, I mean, I think that Packers Lions game is going to be a shootout. And I am so ready for 425 to get here for my Packers and the Lions. So I love that pick. And Kyler's a little sick, right? Like we don't know what's wrong. I mean, he's gonna play. Maybe this is his flu game. Who knows? But I don't like it. I am with you there. All right, we got another one over here too. We got Delirious wants to know Caleb Williams versus Geno Smith. The Bears are playing the Vikings Monday Night Football. And then we got
Tough
Geno
game.
coming
Yeah.
across over playing in New England today.
Yeah, I think I'm going Caleb Williams here. And hear me out. I live in New England. I know that Geno's going to be playing today. It's pretty gross here. There was a massive storm last night. It's been raining all day this morning. I didn't know if I was even going to be able to hop on the pod. I thought I was going to lose power, but here I am. It's gross. It's cold. It's rainy. I think that there's going to see a lot of Genty and Trevion Henderson and Ramondre Stevens in this game. I think you're going to see a ground and pound situation. I think you're going to see a lot of running, and I don't know if I like that. I think it's going to be a gross like 19-17 game or something. Like it's not going to be. You're going to see like maybe 2 to 3 touchdowns in this game between the two teams. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game, and I think that Caleb is probably going to have to throw quite a bit against JJ and JJ squared over there. And I think that you're probably, I think you're going to see at least more fantasy points. It might be a better game from Geno as far as NFL game goes for, but I think I want the fantasy points with Caleb Williams there.
Yeah, I think so too. Let me ask you though, because we know Christian Gonzalez is going to be out for the Patriots. Does that change your mind at all with the Raiders offense?
No, because I mean, the team doesn't move me that much as far as their pass catchers go. Jacoby Myers is definitely he's a New England kid. He came from this team. I do like Jacoby Myers a lot. I think Dante Thornton is underrated as far as a pass catcher goes. He's definitely a field stretcher, but there's nobody that like is, it's not like they have an Amon-Ra or like, you know what I mean? Like they don't have like somebody that's going to absolutely dominate a game. I think that you can piece together, they've revamped that entire defense. I think they'll get some catches for sure. They'll definitely, but I think it's going to be game management from both of these quarterbacks and not like we're taking over the game type deal. I think they're going to try to play a defensive run game at this point.
You think we should lower expectations for Bowers just for
I think
today?
Bowers is going to get it regardless. I think
Yeah.
he's going to, in PPR leagues, he's going to get his targets. He's going to eat. I think you can't really, you might see, like not a boom game from him, but I think he's still going to probably get one of those touchdowns that I talked about and at least 5 to 7 targets.
Yeah. I think so. Well, I got our first piece of breaking news. I've got some questions. I got those starred over there, guys. We will get to those in a second. Everybody else, keep throwing your questions into that comment section. Christian McCaffrey, right? We hear that he is added to the injury report with that calf issue, but says he's good to go. So it looks like McCaffrey is going to start today. I was getting really bad
Nice.
vibes of 2024. I'm not going to lie. When I heard
I
that news,
still have it though. We have CMC injury on the docket right here. We
yeah,
can talk about it a little bit, but do you feel good about having CMC in redraft right now as far
no,
as taking him in the first, second round where he had to go? I don't
yeah,
love it. I think that we are going to be dealing with some sort of injury designation for the entire season,
yeah.
probably. Like it might be a game time decision where he's not playing in shortened weeks, and you might see him on the injury report for every practice on Thursday. It might just be a stressful scenario that you're in every week.
Yeah, I mean, I was in Vegas drafting with the FFPC over the last couple days. Just got home yesterday, but so the news breaks right Thursday, right, that he's dealing with this calf issue. My drafting buddy Jim and I, we go into our draft Friday morning, and we're like, all right, what's going to happen if CMC falls? We had the 10 pick. We're like, do we take him? Do we pass? What do we do? Thankfully, somebody else took him ahead of us, so we never had to have that conversation. But it was definitely something that we were stressed about at that point because it's like, do you want to? I mean, if you take him right and he's healthy, he's a league winner. And if you take him and he has the same issues he had last year, your team is completely sunk. So it's such a hard decision to make with a player of his caliber.
Yeah, shout out to Jim, by the way. Jim is
Yeah.
a producer for Dynasty DGen, so he produces all my shows. So I love that guy.
Yes,
I'm
Jim. I hope you're watching.
full
I know it's early
connection
out
right
there in
there.
California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you guys are in California and you're up for this show, I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Definitely
seriously.
waking up, coffee in hand, getting your start sit questions out there. I love it, man. I know that 11 o'clock is what, 8? Yeah, 8
Yeah.
o'clock. I mean, get your ass up. It's
Yeah.
football Sunday, baby.
It's football Sunday. You know what? I gotta tell you. So watching the last two games out there, they started at 5:30 and done by 8. I don't even know what that life is like. That was so great. And then coming back home and now knowing that I'm gonna be up till like 11:30 tonight to finish games is a little is
I
a
mean,
little
I lived out there for a little while and I do like it, but there's some nostalgia attached to the Monday night late
yeah.
games. And I think the older I get, the less I like it, but also
Yeah.
it doesn't feel, I'm like watching it during dinner time and stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it doesn't have the feel for me. I'm an East Coast guy and I
Yeah.
really enjoy, the late night games and, doing everything and
Yeah.
put my kids to bed and then going in and sitting down on the couch watching the game.
Yeah.
At that point, I'm sitting there trying to bathe them during the, the Monday night games at that point. And I'm like, this is awful. So
You've got the phone on like the counter, like streaming it on your phone.
yeah,
So
we're having dinner during the
yeah.
night games. And I'm like, this is, I don't know. It's just not for me, but maybe
No,
once I get to like my 50s, I'll want to be on the West Coast for these games.
exactly.
Yeah,
And you'll
I'm good.
appreciate it. Yeah, it was like 8 o'clock and the game was over, and I was like, it's 8 o'clock. Like, what are we doing now? Like,
Yeah, what do you
it's
do? What do I do with my hands? Like, we
yeah,
just keep it going.
we're doing more drafts. Okay, like yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that's
Um,
all we got for breaking news, right? Are we?
yeah, that's all. I keep refreshing my phone over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually use the what do you use for your updates? Because I have been getting mine from like it was Fantasy Life, now it's Bleacher Nation Fantasy. And that's where I was like getting those always came through the quickest from pretty much
Yeah,
any.
Fantasy Life is usually great. I think
Yeah.
honestly, sleeper is not
Mhm.
so bad sometimes. And then what do I use? Underdog sometimes as
Yeah.
well. There's a couple things. I usually have my yeah. So I usually use Underdog NFL. It's usually the most
Mhm.
accurate and quick. I just put the tagline on Underdog and then get the notification straight to Twitter
Yeah.
typically. But
That's why I started using Twitter back in the day. That's the only reason I even started a Twitter account was to get my fantasy updates.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. That was really the only use for Twitter for me
Yeah.
for like 2 years. I was like not making content, but
Yeah.
I had all the notifications on, so anything I needed, I was just like, all right, pop it up. I just had
Yeah.
everything coming up on my phone,
Mhm.
and look at us now. Um,
Yeah, no other injury news. I think we heard a little bit more about Xavier Worthy, but nothing like telling about how much time that he's going to miss with that shoulder injury. Um, that's really all the other injury news that I've seen so far this morning. I'm sure we'll be getting some more as the day goes on. We've got here a question, JMO or Devonte Adams, PPR. We have got the Rams are playing Houston and they're in LA. That's going to be a really exciting game. And then obviously the Lions are playing the Packers later today. That's a hard question. That's a hard pick. I'm not sure.
yeah, I think I want Devonte Adams in this
Yes, I
game. I
do.
think that I think that the game script's gonna. I also think that the Lions and the Packers are gonna be in a
Mhm.
shootout too.
Yeah.
But the Lions, they I need to see a couple weeks of usage. Like how they're gonna break
Right.
down everybody when they're fully healthy. We know Amon-Ra St. Brown's still going to eat.
Mhm.
JMO is the field stretcher. He's
Yep.
going to be the second option ideally in this situation. And then you're looking at how Laporta and Tesla and everybody, there's just I need to see the usage. I got to see the team without Ben Johnson. I got to see a lot of stuff. I think that Devontae Adams is set it and forget it currently. He's just sliding back to Stafford, and it's just going to be, you know, he's all business. I'm not scared about Devontae Adams in any situation. He's going to come in there as a pro, and he's going to get his targets. So, yeah,
Yeah.
give me Devontae Adams.
Yeah. I think so too. I like that pick. There's so many other options besides JMO, and there's not necessarily as many that you're gonna get that's as talented as Devontae Adams. So I like it. We got another question from okay. We want Penix or Fields. He's got London as his wide receiver one there. Bucks are coming into Atlanta to play the Falcons.
Man, this is a good one actually
Mhm.
because I think Fields has a lot to prove. Playing the team that sat him and
Yeah.
pretty much, he started 5-0 and they just said, all right, we are going to go with Russ and we're going to live and die by Russ and you're just going to sit in the background. And I think that was kind of dirty. I think that Fields probably deserved to see a few more starts. And I think that everybody, even anybody in the Steelers nation and at that point was in agreement with that.
Mhm.
I just think that they gave up on Fields a little too soon. And I think Fields wants to show that team that they gave up a little too soon. And they probably should have signed him to a contract at that point, but they let him walk. And I think that you're going to see him run a lot in this game. But I
I know.
mean, that Falcons are playing Tampa.
Yeah.
That's going to be a shootout. That's
That's
going to
gonna be a
be
division
they're going to be
rival.
throwing and
Yeah.
throwing and throwing.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
going to go Penix here. I think I got to
Yeah.
go Penix. I think
I
that
think so
you're going
too.
to see like a 35-31 game over
Mhm.
there. I think it's going to be like spicy, like a lot of headbutts by Baker
Oh
Mayfield, and yeah, it's going to be a good game. I got to
yeah.
go with that. Yeah.
I know I'm gonna get that locally here and so I'm like so excited for that. I'm also excited for Emeka Egbuka. That's like one of my other, things that I am just like so pumped for today. I can't wait to see him debut. I think it's gonna be
Yeah,
great.
we're gonna get into what is it, our favorite starts and
Yeah, let's go ahead and
expectations
do
and
that. Let's
stuff.
do some of our starts right now.
Yeah,
Well, speaking of Emeka, I'm trying to fit him into all of my lineups where it makes sense today, right? I mean, if I got some starters going in other situations, probably not. But if I can fit him in, I'm definitely doing it. There's no Godwin, right? McMillan is on the IL right now. He's got that, I think, a concussion, that neck injury that was pretty scary during the preseason. Kate Otton's a little banged up, still waiting to see if he's going to be starting today or not. So you've got Mike Evans and you've got, Emeka Buka now. And Todd Bowles has come out and said he is our undisputed number 2 for the time being. So I can't wait. And they have the word in Tampa, and I did get to go to preseason too and see it, but they love him. They're so impressed with him as a rookie. And I've never heard that much love coming out for a rookie, guy receiver right off the bat. So I think that he's going to be integrated in this offense right away. I don't think you're going to have to wait for him to kind of show up and produce like you normally do with rookie receivers, right? Like they'll come out in the second half of the season. I don't think that's going to be the case here with Emeka. So get him in your lineups if you can.
Yeah, I'm all in on Emeka too. I love the player. I love the situation. I think that he probably could lead this team in targets this year. And that's saying a lot, especially when he's playing with, Mike Evans and probably a Godwin at some point in time. And, just like everybody on that team, I think that, as a rookie wide receiver coming into this situation and already garnering that respect and having that ability to just kind of carve out a role with that wide receiver room. And, yeah, absolutely. You're completely right on the fact that you don't see a rookie wide receiver come in, especially with all that veteran backup players and just come in and be the guy immediately. Yeah. But I think Emeka is that guy for sure.
Yeah, I do too. If anybody can do it, I think he's set up for success there to be that guy. And then it gets real interesting when Godwin does eventually come back. So we don't have to worry about that today, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike, who you got? Who's a start for you?
I think this is probably a little spicy, but I'm starting J.K. Dobbins this week. I think that this is going to be a Dobbins week. I think that you're looking at a situation unveiling here that Dobbins is going to be the guy for week 1. And I think that a lot of people that took RJ Harvey early are going to have a tough time this week, but I don't think it's a long-term situation. I don't think it's season-long play, but you're talking about J.K. Dobbins probably being the starter today. And in a Sean Payton offense, you don't see rookie running backs start hot. You don't see them getting the play that you expect. He's going to have to earn this. He's going to have to come in. But we talked about it a little earlier that, Tennessee's coming in there playing against Denver, probably playing from behind. I think Denver's probably going to have a good lead in this game, and they're going to be running the ball a lot. They're going to be like, okay, we're preserving this lead right now. We're going to give the ball off. And I think J.K. Dobbins is going to be the one that benefits the most. I expect him to have probably upwards of 18 touches, at this point, and then probably a touchdown in there somewhere. So I think that he's going to have a good game. And I think that he's probably going to be the 1B, 1A situation all season long as he's healthy.
Doesn't Tennessee, Denver just scream like a ground and pound kind of game?
It does. And I think that you're going to see that to the point where, you might see it in the first quarter, and then I think that Bo Nix is going to open it up a little bit. He's going to throw on that defense, and I think you're going to see at least a somewhat of a lead at halftime. I think that Tennessee is just going to be pushed out of the run game eventually. I think that they're going to run out of time, and they're not going to be able to run the ball consistently, and that's probably where their downfall is going to be today at least.
Yeah. My second start that I've got for you guys, Tyrone Tracy. The Giants are going in. They're playing the Commanders. The Washington gave up, did you know this, the third most rushing yards per game in 2024? That was kind of surprising to me. But NFL Next Gen Stats, that's what it is. So I think the odds are if you drafted Tyrone Tracy, you got him either in a 0 RB build or as a second running back. I don't think there's any reason why you wouldn't start him up today. I think that's just an easy one for you. I think that he's going to have a great game. I've got him in a lot of places because I do tend to do a lot of 0 RB builds, but he's been one of my favorites, and I'm not really worried about Cam Scadaboo. I think that he has got the lock on that number 1 job right now there in New York. So I am all in on firing up Tyrone Tracy right now.
Hell yeah. I like that call. I mean, at this point, team fade all rookie running backs, for week 1 at least. I'll talk about that later when I talk
Mhm.
about fades in general. But my next start is kind of a blanketed situation, but I want to start all of Indy pass catchers this week. I think that we're looking at a Josh Downs week. We might see a little bit of Michael Pittman this week. Obviously, Warren's going to get his touches too. I think that we're going to see a lot of in the field middle target peppering from Daniel Jones, because when you're looking at Miami, you're looking at maybe the worst secondary in the NFL at this point.
Mhm.
You're also looking at a pretty good pass rush. So I think that Daniel Jones is going to have a lot of open looks in the middle of the field. I think that he's going to be doing some short yardage work and, really doing the Daniel Jones special where he's just kind of jumping and dumping at that point.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to equal a lot of targets, a lot of PPR magic, as I should say, even though I'm not really thinking magic when I talk about Daniel Jones most of the time. But I think that it's going to equal a lot of PPR points. And I think that you're going to see a lot of targets. Might not equal a lot of yardage, but I think you're going to see a lot of targets. And if you're in PPR
Mhm.
leagues, which who's not playing in PPR leagues now? If you're not
Right.
playing in PPR, I don't know what you're doing. But I think that that's going to equal a lot of fantasy points for Josh Downs, Warren, and Pittman might get a little bit of love too. I think that at least Warren and Downs are going to be the guys that you want in your lineup this week.
Oh, I was going to say Warren for sure, because I'm pretty sure wasn't Miami really susceptible to tight end fantasy production last year?
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty leaky in
Mhm.
general.
Yeah.
Once their front seven pretty strong, they have a good pass rush, but
Yeah.
it doesn't move me. I think that the Colts O line is strong enough where it's not gonna. They're going to damage them enough to the point where they're probably not going to be bringing the house every time. I think they're going to
Yeah.
get punished if they do that. So they're going to be in a rough position where, you're making the whole defense look silly from a Daniel Jones dink and
Yeah.
dunk game, but it might be, I don't know. I mean, I'm curious about this game, Tua versus Daniel Jones.
Mhm.
Um, it's, you know, these guys are a lot closer than people want to imagine, unfortunately. So
Yeah. I mean, not the sexiest game of the day by any means, but I think it's going to be interesting though, especially from a fantasy perspective. And who doesn't want to see Tyler Warren? Like he's been so hot this year. Everybody's grabbing him so early in drafts. So I'm ready for some Tyler Warren for sure. Let's go to, do you have any more starts? Because those are my two for sure starts. I've got some sits though for us.
Um, I mean, I'm looking around. I definitely have some guys that I want to touch on later, but I think I'll hold off on, my favorite start of the week and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's go to sits. Yeah, what do
Yeah.
you got?
So I've got Jaquan Jennings. I'm a little worried about that calf issue. I think it was more than he was just waiting for a new contract. So I want to see some information on that. That's a later game, so we may not know that for a little while. But I think, you've got Pearsall there ready to go. You've got Kittle ready to go. Now we know McCaffrey is going to be in the game. So for me, Jaquan Jennings is probably going to be a sit for me. I think he's probably gonna play, but maybe just in line for a little bit lower volume there, lower, amount of targets, just kind of easing him back into the game. So, early on in the summer, if you were drafting back then, you're taking Jawan Jennings before you took Ricky Pearsall for sure. And now things have flipped. So if you've got him stashed on your bench, you're probably better off starting, I think, somebody else at this point. Um, and I just think he's going to be too limited this week until we kind of know exactly what's going on with that calf. How healthy is he? How are they going to use him? I think I'm kind of putting him on my bench for now.
Yeah, I like that call. I'm very curious. Everyone is very high on Brock Purdy this year, and I'm
Mhm.
trying to make sense of that because I don't see it personally. But I think that this offense is going to it's going to be very vanilla, as opposed to the previous years that they've had where it's electric and their
Mhm.
offense is really humming. I think that this is
Yeah.
going to be, Brock Purdy game management more than
Mhm.
Brock Purdy. I think he's been elevated by his players that he's around, not necessarily elevating the players that he's around. So I think that we're going to see, um, I think a step back in offensive production,
Mhm.
and maybe they are more of a ground and pound short yardage team, or I think that benefits Pearsall a lot more.
Yeah.
So it's tough. I think it's nothing that I can say right now would diminish Kittle. So Kittle's wheels up all day. I think that
Yeah.
Kittle's going to be the top earned target when it comes
Mhm.
when it comes to tight ends this year. one of my favorite sits this week is Marvin Harrison Jr. So
Mhm.
Marvin Harrison Jr., I think in the show sheet I said is going to get lost in the Kool-Aid. I think that we're looking at a defense that is pretty sneakily good. I think that Kool-Aid is somebody that is making a jump this year. I think that he's got that corner one potential, and I think that he could show out and show that he has that ability this week. Obviously, he's progressed and he's looked better and better as time has gone on. And I think that he's going to take that role this year, and he's going to be matched up against Marvin Harrison Jr. And, with the good corner matchup, coupled with the fact that Kyler Murray is sick, like it's tough
Yeah.
to play when you're sick.
Yeah.
I don't trust Kyler when he's healthy, never mind sick. So I think, if you have other options to start this week, I think, some people are just forced to start Marvin Harrison Jr. and
Mhm.
it could equal a touchdown this week. I think that he has that big playability no matter what. But I think that all the stars are lining to maybe make Marvin Harrison Jr. sit this week for sure.
Yeah, and like what you said, like it's so hard to play when you're sick, but also like they're traveling across the country. They're in New Orleans today. So I get that they're in a dome, that's always, a little bit better, situation for guys when you're in domes. But, you know, if you're sick, you've been traveling, I don't know. It's giving me the ick, right? Just
Yeah.
bad vibes.
Yeah,
Bad vibes.
for sure. I was already on the fence before I heard Kyler was sick. I think
Mhm.
that this team, the New Orleans Saints, does have a fairly good defense. And I think that, they're going to struggle against them a little bit. I think that
Yeah,
even with a healthy Kyler, this team would be sneaky to maybe pull the veil over and get a win. Spencer
yeah.
Rattler, I don't know, actually. I just remember that he's starting, and I
He
don't
was
know.
there.
Never mind. I'll take that back. But I think the defense is going to get a touchdown this week.
Yeah,
I think that you can
yeah.
lock up that defense for at least scoring a touchdown, getting a takeaway from Kyler Murray.
They were such a hot defense going into drafts the last few weeks. If you're playing in a league that does have like a team defense, just because of their schedule, especially the first week of the season here going into New Orleans. We are starting to get some of the inactives coming out. Big one, Darnell Mooney is inactive today. I think that was a shoulder injury that he had. So I guess are we saying Kyle Pitts wheels up? Definitely Drake London, right? This is
Definitely
completely
Drake. Definitely
optional.
Drake London. I mean, we can lock up Drake London for 15 targets this week, I
Yeah.
think, and that's probably set it and forget it. Drake London,
Mhm.
dark horse wide receiver one this year for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, Kyle Pitts. If you have him on your roster, um, mm,
I mean, I
you
guess
would
today
have
was
to
a good day to
have
do it, right?
an abysmal
Yeah.
tight end room. I think I might start him over somebody like Hunter Henry or
Mhm.
Mike Gesicki or something,
Yeah.
but I'm not putting him over anybody in the top 10
Yeah.
as a
Oh
tight
gosh, no.
end.
No, no, no.
Like I think that's that's tough, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this game though. I love this
Yeah,
game. Yeah.
very much looking forward to that. Nobody else really popping out on the injury reports than on the inactives that we're not already taking into account. Obviously, Godwin's out. The Bucks have released theirs, Falcons have released theirs, Browns have released theirs, Saints. Yeah, nothing new that's really fantasy relevant for us. All right, we got some questions here. We can get to some of those. I've got a sit, but let me get to another sit. But let's get to some of these questions here before they start piling up over here. We got Delirious over here said he traded CMC and B Rob not to deal with all of the injury issues all week, and he traded them for James Conner, DJ Moore. How low did you sell and start DJ Moore, Abuka, and Travis
So
Hunter?
it's two questions, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
uh James Conner, DJ Moore for Brian Robinson and CMC. I mean, he just traded a backfield for two different players.
Right.
James Conner's kind of a vampire at this point.
Mhm.
He's kind of in that he might play forever realm where
Yeah.
it's hard to fade him at this point. DJ Moore's in a messy
Right.
situation. I think you sold the the ceiling play for maybe a safety blanket at this point.
Mhm.
Like I think you sold maybe a league winner for, possible similar points as far as, putting James Conner and DJ Moore together. You might get a ceiling CMC, so I
Mhm.
don't hate it. I don't think Brian Robinson slides in and becomes CMC if CMC is injured either.
Yeah, I
So
don't think so.
it's not the sexiest trade, but I think that it could benefit you if James Conner, stays in that Frank Gore role forever and ever.
Yeah. I think you're betting on consistency with Connor. So, it's always nice to have players that you can throw in your lineup and not worry about. But and then start one, DJ Moore, Emeka Ibuka, Travis Hunter.
I mean, if your team has the IDP stats and it does benefit you as far as, your total points go, Hunter's the play because, if you're going to get points on both sides of the field, even though Hunter might not see a lot of defense, Hunter goes in for like 5 snaps and gets a tackle or a takeaway or a strip sack or anything silly like that. That's going to net you 10, 12 points off the defensive side alone. But if you don't have that, it's Ibuka for me.
Same. Yeah, that's what I was definitely going to go Ibuka there. And I know that's kind of he's been like my guy, so that's not really a big surprise for me, but I think he's just in the best situation out of those 3 right now for today anyway.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Speaking of Alan Lazard, we brought him up earlier. Healthy scratch today. He's inactive. So
I
your
love
Garrett
that.
Wilson pick,
Garrett
even more
Wilson
appropriate.
all day, baby.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson also in that sneaky range to climb a couple tiers this year,
Mhm.
and I think he's been a value all year long. And if you're looking at a team where he is going to produce, I think he's going to have the best season of his career. He
Mhm.
consistently puts up 1,000 yards every year. You know what? The Garrett Wilson fade is going to look pretty, I think, silly on a lot of people at this point.
Mhm.
I'm with Garrett Wilson jumping up into that London tier where he
Yeah,
was 2 years ago.
definitely. All right, we got another one here. We've got start 2. Adam Thielen, Caleb Johnson, Zach Charbonnet. I know which 2 I'm going with. What 2 are you going with, Mike?
Oh man, this is SC. So SC is the host of Devi Dgens. Shout out to SC right there.
Huh.
Appreciate you jumping in and joining us today, man. I love it. Man, start 2. I think you want to. Oh man, Thielen with this team. Who is not? I mean, obviously Addison is suspended, right?
Mhm.
And then we're looking at
We said
JJ
we said
Hawk.
we're fading, right? The rookie running backs this week.
We are. Caleb is
Is he
already
included?
so yuck, man, at this point,
Yeah.
like just because of, you know, I don't know though. He's still gonna see some touches, right?
I don't
It's
think
it's
so.
at this point, it's Caleb Johnson versus Adam Thielen for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I gotta go Thielen for sure. Like, you get 3 weeks to start him without any Addison back there, you're starting him these first 3 weeks. You have to.
yeah, and he's in a familiar offense, and he's going to at least, get that respect. I think that, he's going to get some targets. Yeah, I think if you're going to start Thielen, it's week 1, right?
Yeah. You have to.
And I think if you're going to sit Caleb Johnson, it's week 1. So, yeah, give me Thielen and Zach Charbonnet. But
Yeah,
it
Charbonnet
is
all day.
Thielen versus Caleb is tough because what if we don't know Arthur Smith's game like we
We
do,
don't.
but
That's your wild
he's
card right there is Arthur Smith.
unpredictable. Like Caleb Johnson could start this game and we could
Yeah.
just look silly at this point. I don't think it's going to happen, but
Arthur
what it
Smith
is.
lives to frustrate fantasy managers. I'm convinced that either in his younger days or a past life or something, he had a really bad experience playing fantasy football and has never let that go. And that's what drives him when he makes his play calls, I think.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. All right. Great questions, guys. We got a couple more in here.
Hold on. I got
Yeah.
Huncho's jumping in here. This is my boy Huncho. 4th and Fantasy. I love you guys. I think you appreciate you jumping in. Obviously, I love the support over there. But yeah, he's talking about the CMC discount. I'm with it, man. I know it's tough. people want to get out of CMC for multiple reasons. But man, he's got that potential to just carry you to the championship. And those are guys that are tough to get off your roster.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We gotta start Travis Hunter. I don't think that's a question. I think that's a comment. That's a statement, right? Start Travis Hunter. I
Yep.
agree.
Mark,
I
what's up,
agree.
big dog?
Val wants to know, are we starting Tua or are we starting Stafford? Both.
Stafford so
Yeah.
fast. I don't even have to think about this one.
Yeah.
Give me Stafford without a question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have to elaborate on that one. Just give me Stafford.
At least this week before he gets sacked numerous times and his back ends up having more issues. But you're definitely, I
Well,
think I'm
yeah,
starting to agree.
Stafford gets sacked and his back is broken. Tua gets
Yeah,
sacked and his career is over. So I don't know.
exactly.
It is what it is at that point. But
Yeah. All right. We got a couple more in here. Here we go. Are we dropping? I think that's supposed to be Garendo or Jaden Blue for a Thornton or a Manungai. I hope that's how I'm pronouncing it right. That's how I've been pronouncing it all season. So I hope that's right. I don't think I'm dropping Garendo right now, not with question marks around CMC, even though B Rob's there. I think I'd still hang on to him as a stash if that situation. I don't know.
I think I want Thornton. I do.
Yeah.
I think I want Thornton. I think you know, I think Thornton could be a sneaky, like, top 5 rookie wide receiver this year. And
Yeah.
I know it's kind of spicy, but it is lining up where he is the starter. He's starting this week. He's a week 1 starter as a rookie. And nobody, it's Bowers, and Jacoby Myers, and then nobody. So it's Thornton as probably the third option in an offense that will probably be throwing a decent amount. I know that they have Genty on that team, but I think he's a riser. I don't know. I mean, Garendo has to play better than Brian Robinson, which isn't a hard task, I think, at this point. But is this redraft? Yeah, probably redraft.
I would think so. Yeah.
Mananga is getting a lot of hype, but
He is.
I think I want Thornton. I don't know. I know that we're not lining up on this one,
That's
but
okay. That makes
yeah,
for good discussion.
yeah. I think I want to take a stab at Thornton. I think those are just kind of like hope and prayer plays at this point, and I think
All those guys.
Thornton is at least starting, and that's
Yeah.
more than you can say about the other 2 guys. So
Agreed. We've got one question here. We got Bill Karosky Merritt, JCM, Pearsall PPR. I'm so glad that somebody asked about, I call him JCM. I cannot call that man Bill. He does not look like a Bill. I don't care that he looked like a little Bill as a child. I'm sitting him this week. He was one of my other sits, and not because I don't like him. I really do. I think he's a fun player. I think he has a really interesting story coming out of college. Look that up if you guys have some time. And why he didn't play his last year. It's pretty interesting. But I just ever since that depth chart came out, he was 4th on the list. You got Eckler there. Chris Rodriguez is actually inactive, so that's something to think about too. But I don't love it necessarily. I mean, if you drafted him early on, you got him for free. If you drafted him in the last 2 weeks, you paid a lot. Don't love that. But I do think with Eckler there, I think he's going to have a lot more impact right off the bat. And like we said, kind of fading those rookie running backs in week 1. So I think I got to go Pearsall. If I'm picking between those 2, I think Pearsall is the easy lock for me over JCM.
Yep, I'm with you on that. I think you got to go Pearsall. I think that early in the show I talked about fading rookie running backs, and I think this is a perfect example of you're going to see a week 1 Eckler masterpiece. I think you're going to see Eckler reeling it back to his old days for at least 1 week. Right. I think if Eckler can stay fully healthy, they're not going to manage him like they used to, as far as like they're going to give him 15 snap counts or whatever it is, like I think he's going to be a game change back. I think that, but I think for this week, Eckler is going to get a lot of run, and then it's gonna probably level out a little bit, but you gotta sit the baby in the corner when it comes to week 1. You see it all the time. I mean, Amari and Hampton got some run, but really didn't do anything, didn't do much, and that was against a good defense. It's just, you don't trust. It's hard to trust these guys. It's
Yeah.
week one, outliers happen for sure.
Mhm.
We saw Kareem Hunt like 5 years ago come out, and
Yeah,
I
just
think
blow
that
doors off.
a season opener where
Yeah.
he scored 3 touchdowns and
Yep.
had 200 all-purpose yards, and it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
who started Kareem Hunt? I think nobody, but um,
Well,
yeah,
and two, I mean, they've got Jeremy McNichols is there too, and don't forget they used him a lot last year when they were dealing with injury issues. So again, not a sexy pick, right? But we don't see rookies
this
like
is
the
well,
way
this is a,
they.
a good development, by the way. I
It
don't mean to
is.
cut you
It's good
off.
for him. I think it
I
gives him more opportunity, but I don't know that I'd start him over Pearsall though.
No, I think Pearsall is going to get a
Yeah.
lot of targets. We just talked about Jawan Jennings
Mhm.
probably not being fully immersed into the offense. He
Yeah.
missed a lot of the offseason. I think just in general, even if he's healthy,
Mhm.
missing all the practice reps, and he's going to be off.
Yeah.
I think that it's going to take him a couple weeks to really adjust to game speed again. We don't really take into account the missed time in the off season because these guys are professionals, but timing's so important. And even though you had it last year, doesn't mean you get it to just immediately this year. Um, oh
Yeah.
man, we got, I don't know who this is on the account
It was
right
me.
here, but
That was me. I put that in there. I wanted to know
oh, I was
guys.
like, wait, who's jumping in right now?
Yeah, I
Okay.
wanted to know everybody out there, which rookie do you guys think is going to score first today? I've got one, and then I want to talk real quick, do some quick DFS bets for us. But I want to say Ollie Gordon. I think that that's a weird game. I think it's set up to have an get Ollie Gordon, let him get in there. HN is going to play. He's fine. Let him take it down the field, and then they're going to give it to Ollie. They're just to kind of sneak in and get a quick touchdown. But I think he's going to be the first one to score, not the only one, but I think he's going to be the first one to score today for our rookies.
Nice. Wait, let me see what's the game. I don't even know what time these games are rolling right now. Is
They're
New
a 1 o'clock.
England at the 1 o'clock? New
Yeah,
England's 1 o'clock?
I
Give me
think New
Travion
England's 1
Henderson.
o'clock.
Yeah, give me Travion
Ooh,
Henderson.
that's a
Yeah.
good one.
I
Yes.
think I think that he's gonna hit. I mean, he could get it in the kickoff at that point,
Oh, for
but
sure.
um, yeah. I Claire, we
Ollie has a
we
clear
actually
path.
I like JCM. I think
Yeah.
that
Just
I
today. It's
was
today.
I was all in on JCM, you know, man, back in January at this
Yeah.
point. I liked him as a player. I think that he was a good value for sure.
Mhm.
I don't trust him week one. And it's
Yeah.
not even I hate JCM. I wouldn't start Ellie Gordon either, you know?
No, no. I
Uh,
just think he might score for I think he gets in and gets a sneaky touchdown. And Jalen Wright is not gonna play. He's hurt. So I think there's a better path for Ollie Gordon to produce today than there is for JCM.
I wouldn't start either one of those guys. I'm starting
No.
JCM on a team where I don't have any other options, but
Yeah.
that team is not something I want to show off at this point.
All right, so let's do some quick DFS bets. What are we thinking today? I've got some safe ones that I think are pretty safe, and then I've got some fun, risky ones that, might be a little spicy.
Drop
Uh,
them because I
okay.
I don't have tell me the lines, drop any DFS stuff, and then I'll tell you if I'm in or out, or if I hate it, I love it.
All right, so we're gonna stay with that Miami Indy game. This one's kind of gross, right? But we do know that Danny Dimes on occasion can scoot, right? He's got some wheels that are pretty sneaky. So we have got his rushing yards at 28.5 right now. I'm gonna go the under on this because Miami, for their defense not being so great, they did have a pretty stingy rushing defense. So I'm gonna go under for Danny Dimes today on his rushing
Yeah,
yards.
I'm gonna go under too because I love their front seven. I hate their back secondary. I think he's gonna have a hard time. I mean, there's going to be a pass rush in this game. There is going to be probably some flushing out of the pocket. He might be running to the left a little bit. 28 yards is a lot more than a couple scoots.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
I think he's
he's
gonna
got to
he'd have to
he's got to
work for
break it out for a long one if he's going
Oh,
to hit
yeah,
that. I'm going to
agreed.
go under 2. I think I'm going to yeah. I feel like his rush game isn't baked into his play style. It
Yeah,
is more of a he's scared and he's running away. You know,
yep,
it's not like I'm doing design runs as a Daniel Jones guy. I'm
exactly.
just running because that's all I know how to do in that moment, kind of thing. Like he's not like Drake May where he's getting a design run or Jaden Daniels, you know, Jalen Hurts. He is running because he is scared.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I got another safe one. I got a James Conner. He has got 68.5. That's where his line is set today for his rushing yards. Saints gave up the second most rushing yards per game last season. Carolina was the only team that was worse than they are. So I'm taking the over for James Conner today.
So it's 68.5. Yeah, give me the over on
Yeah.
that. I think that, this game is going to be tough to throw with
Mhm.
Kyler. I think they're going to lean on the run game a lot. Yeah, James Conner over 68.5 is a lock. Definitely.
Yeah. Here's another one that feels pretty safe. I'm going to go Cam Ward on the over with interceptions. I think he definitely gets an interception today. Solid Denver defense, right? You got a rookie quarterback making his debut on the road. Don't love it. Do love Cam Ward this season, but it's 0.5 is where his line is for interceptions. So I think he probably gets one. He's gonna throw an interception today. I feel pretty confident about that.
Yeah, they're going to play a safe game with Cam Ward. Actually, they won't play a safe game with Cam Ward. Cam Ward's not a safe guy. He is.
Yeah.
I'm throwing it. I'm slinging it. I am. He's got an arm. He's not afraid to throw it. I think that they're
Yeah.
going to open him up a little bit, especially in a game where I think they're playing from behind. He's going to probably make some silly plays, Cam Ward, all through his career. Besides last year, last year he really kind of solidified himself. But before last year, Cam Ward was very volatile, very up and down with his play style. He was doing silly stuff, making silly mistakes,
Mhm.
very inconsistent. I'm not completely in on Cam Ward making the full transformation. I think that we do see Cam Ward maybe make some silly plays in the NFL. I'm not down on Cam Ward at all. I'm not saying that Cam Ward isn't going to be an excellent QB in the NFL. Don't get it twisted. I do think that early on, especially against a good defense like Denver, he's going to make some plays that you're going to be like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
He's going to be forced, like I said, playing from behind today to throw the ball, and he's going to try to fit into tight windows. He's going to make some really nice plays. He's also going to make some silly plays. So yeah, I'm in on over zero point 0.5 interceptions. I think that he throws at least one in this game.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a tough ask for anybody to go in and play Denver, and much less a rookie quarterback making your debut in the NFL. Like that's a hard test for him. So, I don't think don't judge Cam Ward for whatever happens today, but definitely go put some money on that over for the interception. All right, now here's my spicy one. I saw today on Twitter that the Giants have got some plays put together for Jackson Dart today. So here's what I'm gonna go for my fun spice steak, and I don't have a line on this because I could not find one anywhere. And I'm in Florida, so I only have access to the Hard Rock betting app. That's the only sports book that we are able to bet on here in Florida. But if you can find a line for this, I think it would be a real fun bet. Probably pay out a lot if it happens, but Jackson Dart throwing for a touchdown.
I mean, if we see Jackson Dart, I don't know what the game script's going to look like in this game. Uh, I don't love it. I don't know. There's a lot of you got to get Jackson Dart
Yeah.
in the game at the right moment.
Mhm.
I don't know if Dayball's got the cojones to really make that happen when the game is in that kind of position, you know,
Yeah,
unless there's a massive swing in points and,
right.
the Giants are 2 touchdowns down or up,
Yeah,
maybe you see a fun play. Um, I don't know. A lot of risk there. I mean, what are you
lots
putting?
of
What are you
risk
putting
there.
on that?
Oh my
It's yeah.
god. I don't even know. I don't even know what I would put on it. I probably wouldn't put a lot, but man, I don't know. I thought it was fun. I wouldn't have even thought about it if I hadn't seen the news that they do have plays for him today, and I was like, that kind of got the wheels turning. And I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
That's a cool one to take. And like if it hits, man, then you've made yourself something nice.
Yeah, I think week one is when you are good with Russell Wilson, and after week one, you got to sell him,
Yeah.
especially in the dynasty streets. Sell him for a second, sell him
Oh,
for, a positional player. Go target a
yeah.
Calvin Ridley or somebody that is kind of in the same realm where you're going to get a couple years of production as opposed to just a couple games. I'm with it. Before we keep moving to the
Yeah.
outro and everything,
Yeah.
we do have to plug our boys,
Oh yeah.
the
Absolutely.
mothership over there.
Yes.
So if you guys aren't doing Fast Draft, jump over to Fast Draft. They are dropping a couple different formats. They're doing fun stuff over there. I know that Stacy's doing Fast
Yep.
Draft. I'm doing Fast Draft. I have a promo code DGen, but for this show, we're using promo code Tailgate. So that's Tailgate, Tailgate. For those of you guys listening, we're going to listen to the new format that they're dropping right now called Flex 6, and we'll come right back.
I know you're sad draft season is over, but just because the NFL season starts doesn't mean the drafting stops. Because Fast Draft has the Flex 6 frenzy. You're drafting 6 guys for the Sunday slate against 9 other competitors. It's fast, it's furious, it's fun. And as with everything on Fast Draft, there are no salaries. Woo! So go to draftfaster.com, get the app, use your host promo code for a $50 deposit match. Now let's go start drafting faster.
Matt is a wild boy, man. I
He's
love Matt.
wild. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
So that is promo code Tailgate, and you can use our promo code and get up to a $50 deposit match. So if you guys aren't on there, jump in there, use the promo code, support Stacy and myself, and get in there and do some Fast Draft.
Yeah, while you're watching Red Zone today, they've got those commercials on. That's plenty of time to jump in and do a fast draft, right? You can be done as soon as those commercials are over. Just hop in there and
7-minute
grab.
drafts. So
Yeah,
best ball 7-minute drafts. You can
exactly.
do it on the potty if you want.
Yep. Real quick before we go, I've got something queued up for us, but I wanted to get to this question real quick. Thoughts on Patriots wide receiver pecking order? Let's do it as like a lightning round. Who you got?
I mean, right now it's Diggs, and I know you just said you're not in on Diggs, but I think that Diggs is going to command targets. Diggs has an ego, and when you talk about ego wide receivers, you got to feed the ego a little bit. If you're going to sign this guy, you're going to have him on your team. If you're not targeting him, if you're not showing him some love, you're going to hear about it, and
Oh, yeah.
that's the reality of having a career wide receiver, somebody that has found a lot of success. You got to feed this guy. And if you don't, he's become a distraction. You got to trade him. You got to get him off your team. I don't think the Patriots want to do that week one. So I think at least for week one, we're going to see Diggs, and then we're going Kyle Williams. I think that Kyle Williams is going to become the wide receiver 2. And then there's going to be a little fight between Douglas and Butte. And I think that Butte is going to be the guy that you want for a stretch play, a long ball. And then Douglas is going to be that middle of the field, whatever, But I think the reality of it, it's going to go Diggs, Hunter Henry, Travion Henderson, and then the rest of the guys. I think that you're going to see a lot of dump offs for Travion Henderson. I think that he's going to be a great PPR back starting week one. I think that he's going to it's going to be a Sonic and whatever Lightning or whatever they call themselves situation for at least a couple of weeks where Ramondre is going to be short yardage guy. And I think Travion Henderson is going to be the pass catching back. And I think that you're going to use a 2-back system. You're going to see a lot of both guys. And then, in that Mike Vrabel offense, they love to run, man. They're going to be running a lot. I think Drake May is going to get a lot of design runs. I think that the backfield's going to get a lot of love. So it's going to be Diggs and then the rest of the guys at this point. I'm not going to start anybody but Diggs right now in this wide receiver room. I can't trust anybody. You might see it might play out like perfectly week one. You might see it, where these guys are getting, the 3 wide sets, and who it's going to be. And I doubt it, though. Not with the Patriots. It's not going to be pretty.
I agree. I'm a little bit higher on Demario Douglas. Josh McDaniels loves him a slot receiver, and I just think Demario is going to come in there. He was right behind Hunter Henry as far as target shares go last season. I do think Hunter Henry is going to be a part of this offense. It's not going to be pretty, like you said. But he was the number 1 target getter last year for the Patriots. So I think he's got a great connection there with Drake May. You do definitely have to factor in Travion Henderson. Ramondre's not dead yet either. So he's definitely going to be a part of it, mixing in probably enough just to frustrate all of us that took Travion Henderson this year. But I get you. I understand the thing with Diggs. I get it. It's the ACL. It's that post, history there. He is a little bit older. So I totally get where you're coming from. I understand. Why you wouldn't be necessarily as high on him, but he's a diva, and divas demand attention. So I think that's going to be their guy. And Vrabel doesn't want to deal with that kind of distraction on his team. So yeah, that's it for me on the Pats. Guys, before we head out, we have got a little treat for you guys. If you guys follow me online, you know that I have recently adopted a little puppy named Maddox. And he really is into football this year. He likes to do picks. And so he is going to be doing our Monday Night Football matchups for us, showing us who he thinks is going to score and be the winner of the Monday Night Football matchup. So let's see if this will, hopefully this works and get him up there. Is that not going to? No, I didn't do it right. All right. Well,
we can. Oh man, you got to send me the video, and I'll do it. But we'll drop it I'll drop it later today, and we'll have it on the timeline for everybody to check out. But for future episodes, we're gonna have Maddox picking the helmet, and it's adorable.
I found it. I figured out how to do it. Okay, hold on. Hold please. Here we go. Yes, as in Greg Maddox in the chat. He is taking the Minnesota Vikings to be the champions for the first Monday Night Football matchup of the season.
We're going to get the video better for sure. Yeah. Stacy is amazing. I can never say enough good things about Stacy, but she's not in charge of the videos anymore. That's just the lock.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you're good. Maddox picked the Vikings, and that's all we needed to know. But yeah, we're gonna drop a clear video on the timeline too, because it is adorable. It's the cutest. Maddox is adorable for sure.
Maddox loves making those picks. He'll be doing it. And you guys will all make a graphic so you guys can keep up with him, see how he's doing, see how you're doing against Maddox and his picks every week. But guys, that is going to do it here for us today. It's noon. You got an hour. Go make your last minute lineup changes. Go throw some money on some DFS stuff. Make it a great first day of NFL Football Sunday. Guys, don't forget, come on back next week. Thanks to everybody who is hanging out in the chat with us, asking questions. You guys are the best. Next week, we are going to have Dan Mader. He is the host of Operation Domination with the Fantasy Sports Advice Network. He's going to be here with us hanging out. So make sure to give us a like, a subscribe, a follow. Come on back for that. And until then, happy football day, guys.